Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Jackson Katz makes a significant point on the framing of gender-based violence. He argues that calling gender-based violence a woman's issue is part of the problem because it gives men an excuse not to pay attention. Using this framing, you can see how this has systematically worked in our society. For example, when people hear the word gender, many times they think it's about women issues, as if men don't have a gender. This is one of the ways in which a dominant system maintains itself, the ability to go unexamined about issues that are about us as men. Martin Luther King once said, "In the end, what will hurt the most is not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends." So today, as men in this house, we need to ask ourselves, what have we done to organize around gender-based violence? What have we done to lead other men in society on gender-based violence? The truth is, the responsibility to take up leadership on this issue must fall on adult men, and men who are in power in particular. We know so much about how to prevent domestic and sexual violence. There is no excuse that our institutions, our workplaces, our schools, and our public spaces are not doing it. The reason is adult men and adult men with power in these spaces are deliberately not taking leadership on this matter. It's about the vice-chancellor in a university who has the power to decide how resources are allocated. It's about the male school teacher in a classroom who intentionally takes steps to disrupt the toxic masculinity in the classroom. It's about the father at home who sits down with his kids and unpacks the importance of being able to deal with your feelings as a young boy. It's about a coach who corrects sexist remarks in a team and sets a clear example that it will not be tolerated. The point is simple. It is about the people in charge, the people who decide what the priorities become, the people who control the resources, the adult men in their homes, the adult men in the workspaces, the adult men in the public spaces. The point is, it's about the people in charge. The president promised and made a promise here on the 5th of September to say he will provide rapid and comprehensive responses to all forms of violence. What has happened? Nothing. To address the backlog of cases, the delay in DNA testing, and the availability of rape kits, nothing. That all crimes against women and children should attract harsher minimum sentences, nothing has happened. There are a few hard truths that we need to deal with in order to start changing the course of gender-based violence. The Department of Women, Youth, and Persons with Disabilities has failed. The minister has failed. She must resign. Either we make a fundamental change and allocate the resources to the Commission of Gender of Equality so that the real work can begin on the ground. The truth of the matter is, NGOs are doing the Lord's work in the devil's playground. It is NGOs in many instances that pick up the slack of government in dealing with gender-based violence in our communities. They tend to lack funding, so do something about that. Lastly, there are men who care deeply about these issues, but caring deeply is not enough. We need more guts. We need to challenge each other. We need to disrupt each other and begin to change the level of tragedy in our society. And in closing, Speaker, there's a man here who disrespected a female colleague of mine. It's unacceptable. And you guys need to change, because if we are saying men must take up responsibility, it must start with us.
Remember, be careful of your gesturing.